Hello, I am Mallory Petrella, and one thing I noticed throughout this play was that majority of the men were more of a dominant aspect, as well as they kind of talked down upon women. There was a few statements on page 19. Pentheus said, "Darkness is just a filthy trap for women." I think that helps play into later on in the play on 29, how they describe how they cradled young gazelles and white milk for them to suck, and then it brings in where the women who had just given birth and their breasts were swollen, they left their babies behind. So I think it was more of like a shocking play as you went on through. It just kind of reinforced that male dominance. For kind of pulling in the dramatic world within this play and a few values, I feel like a few values would have been more based on the males providing as well as knowing the value. Later on in through this play, there was a lot of kind of back and forth within the men on as they're developing this religion. I feel like they are going back and forth of the dominance again of between the messengers and all the men and the Thebes. I think that is because some of them are determining of what's right and what's wrong and how this kind of will affect the new future. That was expressed a handful of times throughout this. I think it was just kind of determining on like who's going to follow and who's not. So that was expressed a handful of times because they're pulling in like whatever belongs to gods, and then the whole difference between the religion and hearing say by the messengers of how it goes back and forth. For question 3, the reading with a pencil, there was a few meaningful words that I had come across that I felt that kind of helped play along with developing this play. That would have been right on page 9. Trias, the God won't care who's young, who's old. We all must dance because he wants honor from all of us together. He'll not exclude anyone who gives to him the glory he deserves. I think this is because he's blind. So he's pulling in the fact that the new God, the new religion is not going to discriminate or exclude anyone that may not be desirable. For question 4, I played along with the consistent understanding of the maenads. I felt these characters kind of developed with the role and the women of the status within this Greek society by the downgrading. Because later on, like close to the end, there was so many statements of, he reached out to her cheek, miserable agaves, and said, I am your mother, your child, Pentheus. You gave birth to me. Later on, it mentions how, but do not kill your own son because of them. She was foaming at the mouth, face twisted, eyes rolling, not thinking she was ought to think. So they're thinking about killing each other. That was just kind of helping to describe that male dominance, because they're just continuing to put down these women. I feel like Elvis Presley was on the cover because I did not make that connection.